business minds and thought leaders share the secrets to success. Welcome to Call Me Successful.
So Jordan Strudwick, husband, dad, investor, real estate genius, owner of multiple properties. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
So let's start off with this real estate gig, right? Where did it start for you?
I started real estate 7 years ago. Before that, I was actually selling cars. I don't tell heaps of people that, but I was selling cars. And before selling cars, I was a car cleaner. So that's how I got into sales. I remember back in the sales, selling cars, I walked straight into the CEO's office at the time when I was a car cleaner. I'm like, hey, man, I want a job selling cars. He's like, I don't have a job for you. And I was like, listen, I'll work for free until you give me a job. So I worked for 4 months for free. I was reading the book, How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Great book. Did 4 months for free. They ended up giving me a job. And straight away, I was the number 2 out of like 25 salespeople in the dealership. And then I tried to start my own business selling cars, like buying and selling cars. That didn't work well. I ended up getting into like 50 grand of debt, which back then was huge money at the time. Then I actually Googled jobs where you can make heaps of money and help people, and like it was doctors and lawyers and dentists and all that type of stuff. And it was like the 8th, and you could probably Google it yourself, but it was the 8th. It was real estate agent, and I'm like, okay, interesting. Then I had an uncle who was in real estate at the time. I hit him up and I said, hey, like, can I come and do some work experience with you? Went with him for a couple of weeks and just fell in love with it, man. 7 years ago, here I am today.
7 years. That's not even a long time in real estate, and you've achieved so much in 7 years. How much has the car sales grounding helped you in the real estate career?
Yeah, heaps, man. So I think like the thing is with real estate agents, like people are always like, oh, I don't like real estate agents. Try to be a car salesperson, bro. Like, people hate car salespeople. So you have a really short period of time to, I guess, meet people and I guess show them your charisma. And like I think a lot of the basic frameworks, like I talk at STRUD a lot, like meet and greet, qualify, demonstrate, negotiate, close. I learned a lot of that in cars, and I transferred it over to the real estate game. So it was immense, and I just found it's all a people game. You know, you don't list houses, you list people, and it was the same with cars. Is that, you know, you sell cars, but really like your job is to be a salesperson, not an order taker, right? So I've transferred that into real estate.
So how did this journey evolve into buying real estate? Because I read something the other day, it was very interesting, that you were sleeping on a mattress to save $15,000 to buy your first property. Is that started straight from the car sales industry, or was it when you got into real estate?
That was in real estate. So I remember when I first started, full transparency, I think they put a bit of sauce on the story of the sleeping on the mattress. I did sleep on a mattress, and I'll get into that story in a second. But I was about a year and a half into real estate. So I bought my first house 6 years ago for $270,000 in Thornton Street in Raceview. Spent 10 grand on it. I made 40 grand out of it. Sold it for 320, and I thought I was like King Kong. I'm like, you know, 40 grand out of property back then was huge. I think when I started real estate, it was really important for me to own a house. Like I always felt like a bit of an imposter that I didn't own a house. So that was my first major goal, to buy a house. So I did that. I went through a separation at the time, and then lost like a lot of my furniture, and that's why I was on the mattress.
Right. Okay.
Mattress on the that's why I was on the mattress on the ground. And I actually remember I had like, it was like this 1960s post-war home. The water pressure didn't work in the house, and all original. And I literally just had like the mattress on the ground, and I had a couch with the TV like on the ground. And the one thing that I forgot when buying my first house to do like a reno and stuff was you actually need money to like renovate a house. You can't just renovate a house with fun coupons, right? Like you actually need the money to invest into a house. So I learned that lesson the hard way. And then from then it just snowballed, man. Like I bought my first, and I bought my second, then my third, and you know, now we've on to our 11th property now.
Your real estate buying and selling journey is interesting in a way as well, because what I've noticed is you buy, you develop, or you renovate, then you sell. It's a lot different to what some people are doing and retaining it.
Yeah.
So why do you choose to do it that way?
I think it all depends on what you want. Do you know what I mean? So like if you can be really clear on what you want. So like for example, for me, when I started the journey, I wanted to have like 10 properties and passive income, everything like that. Obviously started the business, like when I started the business, we had 3 properties at the time, and I ended up selling one of them to, throw all the money into the business, to throw everything at it. But for me now, it's like I want commercial property, which is we've got 2 commercial properties, and I want a big beautiful house for my family, which we've just purchased, and later in life I'll start rebuilding that portfolio. But like, you know, everyone says don't sell, but if I didn't sell, I wouldn't have had the opportunity or the money to then purchase the next ones, right?
So you sacrifice some of that to build a different pathway for yourself, whether
Yeah.
it's commercial or the business. So it's not one size fits all. As real estate, we always taught that, you know, you buy, you don't sell, you buy, you don't sell. But you've gone down a different path and still made it very successful.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's the holding that property has an opportunity cost, right? So I might be able to hold that property, and then over the next 2 years, I might gain, or even let's say over 12 months, I might gain 100,000 out of a $500,000 property. So I make 20% out of that $500,000 property, or I take that money out of that property, put it across 2 properties, and then do 2 flips, and then I might make 200,000. Do you know what I mean? So I'm making 40%. So it's just it depends what works for you. I think one of the big things for me is that I've always been very adverse to risk, which is, you know, it can nearly be like an addiction. I'm sure you have the same one. And, you know, I just see things really clearly. It's like, cool, I can, you know, I've got this money here, and it's just how do you make your money work for you the best, and what are you trying to achieve, right?
So this the real estate journey you've taken in buying and selling, and now when you look at STRUD Property that you own, it's big, it's massive, it's leading in the area. You've got how many people now? How many people on the team?
52 across all of the businesses.
52 across. How's that journey that you've gone personally? How has that resulted in you building what you have now? Because 7 years is a very short time frame to build what you've done. Not many people are doing it out there. So what makes that journey unique in terms of how you've implemented for your own people, and why are people choosing to join you now?
It's always just one day at a time, man. Like I was just saying to you before we started, like I've had a pretty stressful morning, right? But then now we're here, and I'm here. Like I'm here with you. It's, you know, it's 11:20 a.m. and this is it. Like this is life, right? And I think the reason why a lot of people follow me is the ability to. One common thing that a lot of them will always say to me: everything that I say that I'll do, I'll do. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll set that long-term vision, but I take it one day at a time. From a leadership perspective, you know, I always talk about, like, you know, there's a triangle of like lead, manage, coach. You know what I mean? So I've had to learn to manage a little bit better, but I've always led from the front. You know, one of the first things I used to say to my team back in the day is, you know, do as I say, not as I do. And it's like the stupidest, advice you can literally give to somebody, because they're going to do exactly what you do. So I think it's always leading from the front. And I think it's always having the courage to just have a crack. You know, you never know what opportunities are going to come, you know, by not having it go. So, you know, I lead from the front in that aspect with my team.
So you tried the car business, tried to own your own car business, it didn't work. Then you come across and started your own real estate business. At what point did you know that you wanted to do that? At what point did you know you were a leader? Or what point did you know that you wanted to be a leader?
It's been a crazy journey. So like I started STRUD 2.5 years ago now. It's 3 years in November. When I started STRUD, I didn't want to be a leader. I was pretty much done with the game. We'd had 3 properties at the time. I'd met Yana, and I was sick of the stress. Like I just had enough. Like, you know what it's like. Like you're just like, you know what, stuff this. I'm out. I'm done. And I remember when I started STRUD, my whole focus was I just wanted to be a good man. You know, I remember meeting Yana. I was like, I just want to be a good man. I want to have good values. You know, I did a weird thing where I wrote my own eulogy, which is it's a great personal development exercise where you write your own eulogy. And I realized that at my funeral there was going to be a lot of people that really wouldn't have cared, or like I didn't leave people better than I found them. I didn't do what I wanted to do with my life. And when I started STRUD, it was just I wanted to be a good man. Yana and I wanted to start a family, which we did pretty much straight after. I got a 2-year-old Noah, and I just wanted to be a good man. I wanted to sell 30 houses a year. So back then I was selling 102 houses a year personally, and I was running like a dog. 15 open homes every Saturday, just running like an absolute dog. And I started STRUD, and I was like, look, I just want to sell 30 houses a year. That was the plan. So I didn't know that I wanted to be a leader at that time, and then people started kind of attracting to me. Like, you know, even now I make very minimum recruitment calls, like very, very minimal. Right? People will come to me because I know that I'll look after them. And I think, you know, people will stay with you for your standards, your values, and your beliefs. You know, like yeah, like, and I think that's the thing for me now is that it's more I'm a person that people want to follow, and I've grown into leadership. It's kind of just happened to me. It's not like I always wanted it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so for the audience that doesn't know, we're competitors in the area. So one thing that strikes me about what you've done is you haven't hired superstars, you've created them. Like your leadership ethos and what you teach them, and it's very like they're all mini struds in a way, aren't they?
Literally, yeah.
Like how does that happen? Like how do they follow you in that? How do you teach them that? Because it takes a special guy to do that. They've never been called mini struds.
Mini
before,
struts. Oh, they have been. They've been called mini
okay,
struts.
cool.
Yeah. I think great question. I always think about these things myself. Like why do people follow me? Like what makes me different? And I think it's just everyone has something within them, and my job as a leader is to literally just help them be the best person they can be, unlock their potential. And I meet people. So many people in life. Like I think you do it in real estate, where you'll meet people that are 40 or 50 years old, and they'll say, oh, I wish I timed the market. I wish I did this. I wish I bought more property. I wish I started a business. And you kind of meet them and you're like, how did you not make it? Like, you're driven, you're smart. Like, how did you not make it to that next level? And I see that, like, so for example, with Jesse Patrick's one of, he's actually my leading agent at the moment, pretty close between him and Bliss. And some are pretty close, but he's just cracked 1,250,000 GCI. Second, it's his second full year in September this year, so next month, 1,250,000 GCI, and he was an electrician before. And I remember saying to him, like, he always loved property. His brother Toby's my business partner in STRUD Marketing, and I remember meeting Jesse one day, and he wasn't very confident. He wasn't super well spoken. His voice was shaking the whole entire time I talked to him, but I could just see this look in his eyes, and I could see this look like there's a dog in there, like he's hungry, like he wants more. And he was a bit unsure about making the jump, and I just said to him, I said, bro, you're 20, I think he was 25 or 26 at the time. I said, if not now, then when?
Powerful.
And he jumped. Now he's just had his beautiful firstborn child. His wife, his partner, doesn't have to go back to work. And these are all things that he said that he wanted back then. So I think for me is that as a leader, I find out like what do you want in your life? So for example, with Jesse, what do you want in your life? And great example, this morning, him and I were talking about buying yachts, like next year, and it all starts as like a joke, and you'll say, oh, we should buy some yachts and this and that.
STRUD yachts.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. Company can pay for them. Like if you can dream it, then why can't you do it? Why, like everything that you want in your life, it's possible. You've just got to understand whether you will want to pay the price to do it.
So from what I'm getting from that, when you're hiring people, you're looking at if they have the killer instinct, if they really, really want this. So 100%. The motivation, because that's one thing we can't teach people. So you're looking at like, if this person has it, they can make it in my team. That's the main criteria.
I think if they have it, but then also like if they're a good human. So so in my interview, so I'll do like a 3-stage interview process, and then like in my last interview, I'll literally like just look them in the eyes and I'll be like, "Are you a good person?"
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And I'll just shut up.
Yeah.
And I can always you get the answers of, "Oh, I try to be," and straight away for me that's like a red flag. I'm like, okay, try to be, probably not a great person. And you can just see, like, I think one thing with me is that it's all the intangible things. Like I can see if someone's a good human being and someone's not a good human being. And I think for me, that's what I pride myself on. It's about being good when no one's looking. Like it's holding yourself to that standard. So yeah, hunger, determination, but most importantly, like are they a good human? Can they support the person next to them and the person on the other side? If they can, great, they can be a team player. If not, then I don't want them in the business.
You don't want them. So how do you deal with, because we all as leaders, we all have people that we've failed or we feel they've failed. Like how do you deal with that? If you've got someone like that who's hungry, who's a good human, who's willing to work for it, and they come into your business, because we all have them and they haven't worked out. Like what do you tell yourself or what do you tell them?
You only fail when you stop trying, right? So like just get back up again. Like I had a conversation with one of my team this morning. She was a bit upset and she's got a lot of personal things going on in her life, some really heavy things actually. I just said to her, I said, so what? And she's like, what do you mean so what? I'm like, so what? Like so what this is going on in your life? Like what are you going to do about it? And I think that's the thing, is that for me as a leader, it's just empowering someone to understand that it's okay. Like it's okay to not be where you want to be. It's okay to fall fall down and not do exactly what you want to do, but like just get back up again. And the quicker you get up, like the quicker you're sweet again. Like for me now, like I'm sure you're the same. Like I go through challenges every single day, and like sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? But I love it. Like, and I've got this long-term vision, and I understand that if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's cliche, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. Not everyone's gonna put it all nearly on black and have that go. And I think because I've done that, I have the ability to tell my team, not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. So if someone's being like, great example, like one of the guys, and it's different. Like you've got to adapt to different people within the business. But like, if one of my guys comes to me and they're all down in the dumps, like about something really small, I'll be, as bad as it sounds, I'll be like, bro, you're being a bitch. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're being a bitch. Oh, what do you mean, bro? You're being a bitch. Like, what are you whining about? Like, get up. 6 months ago, this is where you said you wanted to be. You're here now. Yes, you've got a heap of listings, and yes, you've got a heap of stress. But 6 months ago, that's what you wanted. Is this not what you wanted? Did you not choose this? Do you know what I mean?
So they sweat the little things because you've got their big vision, the big picture goal. It's about getting them to that same big picture, reminding them why they're joining, what they're looking to get 100%. Out of it.
And having that, like having that helicopter view on their life. Yeah. So for example, with Jesse, I can say to him, well, hey man, like, maybe you should have a break. And see that like maybe he's carrying a lot of listings, he's working like a dog, and be like, hey, you should plan this ahead. And I think that's my job as a leader, is that they want to go from A to B, and there's going to be all of these things ahead of them. My job is to move those obstacles, or at least tell them, hey, that's going to, you're running now, you're at 15 active listings. Yeah. It's going to get a bit stressful. How's your vendor management going? You know what I mean? And start predicting those things that happen and helping them get from A to B as quick as they can, right?
So your transition, speaking of getting them from A to B, your transition from top selling agent in the area to one of the best leaders, how is that? How have you done that? Because I remember this post the other day, right? And I think we were talking about it at lunch one day. It's just you saying you're not going to sell anymore, and people took it as that you're retiring from the industry.
Yeah.
So it's hard to give that message out there without getting people confused. But you've done it so well. How have you done that?
The big thing with me in life, man, is that it's all planned. Like, even though it seems like the retirement post, that was planned 6 months in advance. Do you know what I mean? So it might seem like, oh, this has just happened, but it hasn't just happened. I've been like, cool, sweet, 6 months time, I want to step away. What does that look like? And how do I reverse engineer that? Sweet, that means I need to start delegating my leads here and there, and then, you work your way up to it, you tick all your boxes, and then you do that, and you've got to brand it. You know what I mean? Like as much as, I had so many things when I announced retirement. Like I had people go and saying like STRUD's going bankrupt and like all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. I heard like Jordan can't sell anymore. He's lost his license. All these types of things. But guess what? It got people talking. Yeah. It got people talking about STRUD. Yeah. It got people talking about our culture, about our business. And I guess the thing is that unless you're on the inside, like I talk about the inner circles a lot, unless you're on the inside, you actually don't know what's going on. So I think as a leader, it's really important to the key people within your business understand 100% where you're going and what you're doing, and then everyone on the outside can play those games and guess what you're doing and talk about what you're doing, because that's actually what you want.
It can be entertaining as well, right? When you hear all these things going on, you're like, what's going wrong? Everything's fine in here.
100%. Yeah. And I think when I first started STRUD, I used to hate that. Like, it used to upset me when you'd hear things about yourself and you're like, man, that's not legit. Like, that's not true. But it was funny. I was saying it to someone the other day, like, those little comments, they create you. Like when I started STRUD, I never planned on doing more than, 100 deals a year, I wanted to do 30 deals a year. Now we're doing, 70 deals a month, 60 to 70 deals a month. And I would hear all these things and I'd just be like, why are you saying these things? Like, what's going on? And, like, tell me I can't do something. Like, and I think that's the thing. Like, you got to have that fire. Like, I love it. Like,
I feed on it as well. Like, I don't need extra motivation, but when you hear that stuff, you're like, let's go.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's go for another round.
And you never. I think the big thing that I've learned over time is that I never retaliate. I know all the things that get said. I know the things that happen, but I just in my mind I bank it up, and I'm like, sweet, cool, you said that. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke it.
Yeah, I'm gonna win. Results do the talking.
100%. And I think, as a leader, it's like, you've got to know. So even though I might go through my ups and I go through my downs, like, I 100% know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm trying to achieve, and I understand that I'm going to get there. It's inevitable, And I think unless you can have that crystal clear vision as a leader, you're never going to be able to like enroll people in that journey.
Yeah. So I've noticed you're giving a lot back to the industry now. You've gone out and done some talks, you do training sessions everywhere. The industry has given a lot back to you, but what's your biggest gripe with the industry?
My biggest gripe with the industry, which I probably shouldn't say it on a real estate podcast, but I think a lot of people in our industry are pieces of shit, man. That's the truth. I just think like it's. Yeah. I guess you get paid to, like some people. Like I've met some people that you think are like just the nicest humans in the world, and they just seem great, but they've just got no morals. There's no like, what do you stand for? I think there's that, the morals, and then probably secondly, just service, man. Like just service. Like you're literally looking after someone's biggest asset. Like if you say you're going to call someone back, call them back. If you say you're going to text them at 2:00, text them at 2:00. You say you're going to send them an email by the end of the day, close the business, you send them that email. Just really basic things. And I think that's why STRUD has grown really well, is that I'm always on these guys about the really basic things of real estate. Like you can go do a beautiful TikTok video and an Instagram video and all that type of stuff, but if you don't answer your phone, like what are you doing? And like I'm always on my guys. Like even this morning in the meeting, I said to them, like the standards you walk past are the standards you accept. You know what I mean? And you've got to have those standards. And I think that in this industry, there's so many agents out there that just give us a bad name. People who just don't do their job. Like do your job and do it right. Everyone's out here practicing with people's houses. And I hear that with STRUD. People say, oh, Jordan's just out here practicing with people's houses, or Jordan's team's so young, but they don't see the training programs that we put our guys through. They don't see, the meet and greet, qualify, demonstrate, negotiate, close, ask them how to qualify questions, teach them about, Form 6s and contracts and all of those types of things. People don't see that type of stuff, and I don't think there's enough training in the industry. There's just so many people out here just winging it, Yeah.
I think they just give the people that are trying a bad name. So that's why we've got the least trusted profession out there at the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
We talk a lot about legacy. We've spoken a bit about what your family means to you. And you kind of touched on the eulogy point.
Yeah.
So what kind of legacy are you doing, creating for your family? And like your mum's played a very important role in everything you're doing out there.
Yeah. Yeah, so mum, I'm really close with mum. She's like kind of like my, she was head of our finances. We've got a CFO now, but she's kind of like my spiritual. I'm very spiritual these days. She's kind of like my spiritual guide on everything that I'm kind of doing. And legacy wise, like I believe that I'm here for something more. Like money, I'm 31 years old. If I wanted to, I don't have to work a day again for the rest of my life. Right? I was actually saying this to my team at STRUD this morning, is that I don't have to work. The reason that I work is that I genuinely believe that I have the opportunity to help people change their lives for the better, and who am I to not do that? For me, like if I said my why is to be the absolute best role model I can for my son and all the people that are around me, and to inspire people that are around me. So legacy-wise, like, I want to change the world, man. I've talked to my cousins about it. Like we're planning on building an orphanage in the Philippines. Like, just making a difference. Like I've always believed since a young age that I was here to do something, like to do something big. And I think STRUD's just a vehicle. And I think everyone gets caught up in real estate, man. Like, you know what real estate's like? It's so ego driven. Like I did this GCI and that GCI. Like it's so ego driven. Like business is different. Like, what are you actually doing for the world, right? So like we talk about ego with like GCI and stuff like that. Like, you can grow a rent roll. Like you and I speak about rent rolls a bit. Like, our rent roll we grew last year. Grew, 200 managements. What's that? $1 million. But no one's talking about $1 million GCI from a rent roll because it's not GCI. Do you know what I mean? But I just love building stuff.
It's not on a billboard.
No, it's not on a billboard. 200 managements. No, that's not on a billboard. But I think for me, man, legacy is just, I'm alive now. Like I'm 31. Yeah. I feel like I'm very, very far away from where I'm going, and I believe that I can really change. Make a really positive impact in the world, man.
So STRUD Marketing, STRUD Finance, STRUD Property.
Yeah.
We're going to see STRUD Gold Coast.
Yes, we are.
So this is all being reverse engineered now, isn't it?
Yeah. So we have an office already at the Gold Coast.
Nice.
That no one knows about.
And it's they do now. Sorry if that was breaking news.
Yeah, so we do have an office at the Gold Coast now, which we've got a couple of guys working out of at the moment. But yet again, like I said, everything's planned. So like I want everyone to think that we're here, but we're actually here. You know what I mean? So everyone thinks, oh, when we announce that we've opened a Gold Coast office, no one knows that that's a year in the making. No one knows that we've got the systems, we've got the processes, we've got the people, we've got everyone lined up for that. And then all of a sudden, we'll hit that market and everyone will be like, whoa, where did these guys come from? This just happened out of nowhere. No, it didn't happen out of nowhere. We planned this. Do you know what I mean? This was part of the plan. This was our marketing plan. This is our, a networking plan. Like, yeah, so Gold Coast will happen. I've got some big goals for Queensland, but it's always changing, when you have kids and stuff like that, the goals are always changing.
It's always evolving, isn't it?
100%.
Theme song. If you could define your life in one theme song, what would it be?
Biggie Smalls, Juicy.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, Biggie Smalls, Juicy. They played, one of my best mate, got his name tattooed on my ankle. My best mate, he committed suicide at 19 years old. And it was actually so tripping because I was actually speaking to him this morning. Speaking to someone about him because they're going through something a bit similar at the moment. And I said, at the time it seemed so difficult for me, but I've got so much strength from losing, one of the most important people in my life. And at his funeral, that song played, and it's all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, And it's like, and it just reminds me of being a kid and being young and sitting on the school bus and just looking out the window and having dreams. And I think that's what life's all about, man. Like, for me now, it's like I just want to be a kid again. I just want to do what I want to do. It's a great example. The other day, I thought about, I want to get a fish tank for the office. So like next minute, I'm like looking at I'm talking to this dude who does like professional fish tanks and stuff like that, getting quotes and stuff like that. And I might get a fish tank. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to do whatever I want to do.
Nice.
So
girls used to diss you. Now they write letters.
Oh, he's on it.
Juicy.
Yeah, I should.
I'm on it.
No, I'll stop. I won't beatbox.
Well, thank you so much for making time for us and being on our podcast. I really appreciate your time. And it's not just what you're doing out there, it's the way you're doing it that resonated with us. And congrats on all your success. And I'm sure we're going to see more of you around the corner.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.